Hello and welcome to the Pacific Alliance of Collegiate Gamers Overwatch broadcast. We're coming to you tonight on this lovely Tuesday from the University of Utah campus in the historic Einar Nelson Fieldhouse. I am Archie Sleek Smith, joined here by my lovely co-caster, Xander Zader, last name.
Yeah, Hansen, I guess, if that really matters to you, but, I mean, whatever.
That's what we do. So, we're coming at you tonight with some of the hottest Overwatch action at the collegiate level that you're going to see today, at least within the next couple hours. So, Zader, tell the people about the PACG.
Yeah, so the PACG spring season is actually going to be 4 different tournaments. It's going to be one for League of Legends, one for Overwatch, one for Hearthstone, and one for Rocket League. And for the next 8 weeks, or not 8 weeks, I guess it's we got about 2 more weeks here, or 3 more weeks.
We're in week 4. That leaves 4.
4 weeks.
8
I don't know
minus
how to.
4.
I actually don't know how to do math. Little did you know. The best players from 8 schools are going to be going head-to-head every weekday night in the group stages. Overwatch will be played every Tuesday night, starting at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, as you guys may see right now. So the schools are going to be split into 2 different regions, and each school will have the chance to play every other school. Have the chance to face every other school in their respective regions in a set of 4 match consisting all of the escort, assault, control, and hybrid maps. At the end of the group stage, the top 3 teams from each region are going to be going into the playoffs, which will be a single elimination bracket with the top teams advancing directly into the semifinals. And after all of that, it'll all end on Finals Friday, one day you definitely do not want to miss, where the final games for all of League of Legends, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and Rocket League will all be played respectively in that same night. And so that's definitely something that we want to make sure we have a time slot for, so you guys can come tune in for that.
So one of the important things we have to keep in mind when talking about the PACG is our region system. Most of our games are divided into 2. You can see them here in the South Division. It's Arizona, Arizona State, UCLA, and USC.
And then there in the North Division, we're going to have Colorado, Oregon, Stanford, and your very own Utah.
So players will, when playing for placement in our first 8 weeks, it's going to be the games against these teams in these divisions that matters. Anything against the other teams, those are just going to be our show matches.
That is correct, and those show matches are really fun to watch. It's just a lot of entertainment for you guys, and the way those work is a little bit different. But we're going to go ahead and move on to today's matches. Today we've got Utah versus Colorado.
Followed by USC versus Colorado. Busy day for those, gentlemen.
Colorado having 2 busy matches today. And then tonight, the last match there will be USC versus Oregon. Definitely 3 matches that are going to be a lot of fun today. Colorado having a lot of matches up here today. They're probably going to be worn out by the end of the day, but we'll definitely have to see how those go. It'll be a lot of fun to watch.
So just looking at those, you got a favorite match for this evening?
I always love Utah matches. It's just personal. I mean, obviously coming from Utah, I just prefer to watch the Utah matches. But at the same time, USC, I've been really actually liking their team. It'll be really interesting to see how they do as well.
I'm personally excited for some of the Colorado matches. They've had a very good record here. Now they're going against some of the harder teams in the league to face. We'll see if they're able to keep it up. So now I previously mentioned our show matches. Can you tell us a little more about what exactly that means for it to be a show match?
Yeah, so those show matches, they're going to be cross groups. So each region will be playing against a team from the separate region, and so that'll give everybody kind of a chance to play all the teams respectively, and not be kind of compounded into the same 3 teams playing against. There'll be isolated matches. The wins or losses won't really count towards the group score. So it's all just for fun. Fun and games, nothing to worry about. And it's really just purely to showcase how teams would not normally play. So you might see some funky compositions, or you might just see just a lot of fun with these matches. And they're honestly, we've had show matches every week, and every single time we've had a show match, it's been extremely fun to watch.
Have to agree there. And one of my favorite things about the show matches, it's the only way for us to really compare the skill levels of these schools across divisions. So when it gets time for like finals, semifinals, that cross-regional play, that's going to be all the data we have to go on. It's what's in the show matches, what we saw there, how those matchups will line up. That's where we're coming from. I think that's part of what's really important there. But speaking of standings, if I am right, this is the first week that we have our standings available to show to you in this awesome graphic. Look at that. Look at that graphic.
Ooh,
Love
so
it.
good. Yeah, and here we see Colorado coming in with a 2-0 group score. Really, really great here for Colorado as far as their start goes. UCLA coming in with a 1-0. They haven't played as many games, obviously, but they're still out here on a good start.
Utah also has a 1-0, so first match, undefeated Titans clash. Only one can walk out with their pristine record. We'll see who that's going to be fairly shortly here, I imagine. As we're
Yeah, I mean, as we start getting ready as far as these matches go, it's going to be, again, it'll be really fun to see just exactly how these teams play out. Obviously, this first match coming up would be the Utah versus Colorado match, and Utah kind of being one of the stronger teams. Colorado, we haven't really seen, we've seen them a lot more in this match, and they've been doing really well. So it'll be really interesting to see them come against Utah. As Utah being already a pretty established team here before the PACG started. They did a lot of their TESPA tournaments and whatnot. So it'll be really interesting to see exactly how Colorado faces up against Utah, and I'm really excited to see what they can pull off here.
It's going to be a big one. These undefeated versus undefeated are always, it's a classic, really exciting match to see in any sporting event. So as we continue to talk about this, I think we're about ready to look at these lineups. So we can compare those head-to-head, see who we're looking at. Left-hand side, it's the boys from Utah. Flame Turtle and Daddy J in the DPS slots for those boys. Tetrum, your dedicated tank, being assisted by Dog21 in the flex role, while Sin and CX Dave will be keeping those boys alive as healers.
Yeah, and CX Dave being on that Lucio, Sin playing a lot of Mercy, but we're gonna see him a lot more on Moira now that this Mercy meta is a little bit out of the way. As far as these substitutes go, Mutatone and Tandon. Mutatone being the tank sub, you'll see him swapped out with Tetrum a lot of the time. We like to see them. They usually both play in these matches, and then Tandon usually subbing out for Daddy J. But both really amazing players still. Just kind of helping the team out when they need to.
Actually, a fun thing about Mutatone, we see him, he's on there registered as tank player on their roster. Last time we saw him play, he was actually playing straight DPS in Utah's last match.
He definitely does have a very strong DPS side. His tank, definitely his strongest his strongest role, but when he goes into DPS, he definitely can show as far as DPS goes. Very well-rounded player, but definitely prefers to play tank. His Reinhardt, really one of the best.
I have heard some good things about that. Now, across the way, it's Colorado, undefeated. These guys led by Dry Grasses and Starfish in the support roles. DPS, man, help me, Zader.
I'd like to say that's Atomic, like Atomic Spoon, just not spelled atomic.
Atomic Spoon and Q Smith 14, your DPS players for Colorado. System and Shohapu, the tank players. That's probably right.
I think it's Kohapu. I don't think
I
haven't been told that I've been saying that wrong, so I believe it is Kohapu. Definitely a really interesting name. But Minecraft Kid coming in as the substitute, even better name. I'll take that guy over anything any day.
So if only so that it's easier to say on the cast quickly. Other substitutes include Alchemist in DPS and Javelin for the flex. Always good to have a solid flex player in your substitute lineup.
I really do agree with you there. Those flex players, really strong players. Those players know a lot about the game. They have a solid game sense, and they know all of the characters, which really is nice to see. I really love seeing flex players. Being as a DPS main myself, flexing out, I really should be branching out. I would like to, because it really just makes you a stronger player in general.
So you're a DPS player too. That's both you and Ninja I cast with the other day. I am surrounded by DPS mains. All right, okay. No tank love here. But what will bring some tank love? It's going to be our first map this evening. Oh, all right, lovely. So, not going to maps like, I am sorry that I played with your feelings, folks. My deepest condolences. I am just as negatively touched by this as you are.
We're just trying to get into these matches really fast. We're just super excited.
I love casting Overwatch. I normally do Rocket League over here for the PACG, but the times I've been allowed to sub in for Overwatch have been an incredibly awesome time. It's a lot of fun out here on the Overwatch side of things. So, since we can't get into the match, tell me, Zaire, what are your predictions for this match? What's going to go down?
Definitely a little bit of bias here coming on my side. If I'm really going to admit, I think Utah really is going to be able to pull out on this one. They've got a really strong team. I know a lot of the players personally, all of them really good players. I think Utah is going to come out ahead on this one. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on the score. I really couldn't tell you if it was going to be a clean sweep or if it was going to be a close match. But I personally think Utah is going to come out on this one as far as this first match goes.
I'm going to respect your opinion. You do know these teams a little better than me. You've been doing this a little longer than I have. But I am a simple man. I believe in good math. And everyone knows 2 is greater than 1. Colorado is, in my books, the favored team here. So let's go ahead and pop over to map selection. We can do that now. Sorry for the tease, folks. It's going to be Hollywood, land of opportunity, to start things off.
Yeah, Hollywood, really fun map. It's going to be, that hybrid map. First, control point at the first, and then, pushing the payload from there on out. Hollywood's a really fun map. Just the name Hollywood. Everything is fun about it. Lots of Easter eggs, lots of really nice sight lines in that map. We might see a little bit of Widowmaker, possibly. We really don't know. There's a lot of team compositions that really can come out of Hollywood, and I'm really interested to see exactly what comes out. I haven't seen too much of Hollywood coming in with this new meta. I haven't seen a lot of Hollywood compositions yet, so it'll really be exciting to see what these teams kind of choose.
Yeah, it's excitement. It's a bit of a new territory in at least some of the Overwatch games I watch. I actually just don't see a lot of Hollywood for some reason. I don't know if people are subconsciously avoiding the map. Map rotation hates it, but I love the map. I think it's really cool. We have some of the coolest set pieces in Overwatch in here, and it allows just such flexible play. You can get snipers going. You can get your really mobile, steady death ball comps going at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's a good time. Lots of flexibility there, and that's something that I think makes a really good map, is the ability to run whatever you want. As long as you're doing it well, you're going to get results.
I really agree with you on there with that one. But, I mean, Hollywood just really is not, like you said, it's really not a team favorite map to play. It's a really odd kind of style. There's a lot of flanking opportunities in this map. It's very open. There's a lot of like side alleyways and a lot of side buildings that you can really go into, and it's really hard to kind of get a hold on things because you're possibly going to see a lot of Tracer coming in on the back. You're going to see a lot of Widowmaker. You're kind of having really good sight lines, and you're not going to be able to get to her very well. It's going to be really it's just kind of a really hard map to kind of nail down and predict exactly what's going to go on. Whereas you have those really linear maps like Kings Row and everything, where you can really just see where everyone's going, and there's not as many flanking opportunities. So Hollywood is just really open. So it's a really hard map to play, and I can kind of see why these guys don't really want to be playing on Hollywood as much.
A lot of flexible options there. Makes it hard to predict exactly what's going to happen. Lots of opportunities, so I guess we'll just have to see what goes on there. So let's go ahead and pop into Hollywood, see what's going on. We get ready for our first match. I've said this before, so it feels like I've said it a million times. I love these little map flyovers we do. Whoever did them did a fantastic job.
Oh yeah, these map flyers are so fun. Getting all the key points of of the map. Here we see obviously what would most likely be the Chinese theater. Lots of just fun things that you would see in Hollywood. Obviously, the classic Hollywood sign coming in the background. And like I said, lots of Easter eggs in this map as well. But here we go. Here we see the little bit of the team composition so far. We're going to see Flame Turtle on that Doomfist. Doomfist, here with these new Doomfist changes, actually pretty viable. His changes, he's able to get those shots off a lot faster now. So he's able to do a lot more damage. So I'm really interested to see exactly what they want to do with this.
It's very good for his reliability. But Flame Turtle not believing in it, going for the more tried and true Genji pickup right off the bat. Daddy J leading the flank. Going to be a dive-heavy comp from Utah.
Yeah, these dive compositions really popular. They just want to get on the point. Here we see Daddy J, like I said, coming around the back. All of these, these flanking opportunities really difficult for them to kind of handle. And here we see Tetrum able to dive in onto the back line. It looks like Utah's cleaning house on this one.
They got some early pickoffs there, so it's an uphill battle for Colorado to find their footing here. Atomic Spoon does find his first pickup, but that is all that's going his team's way here. very quick first point capture here for Utah. We didn't get to see too much since we kind of flew along with Daddy J on the Tracer. Kind of missed some of that action there, but could you... Oh, hello. Goodbye, Flame Turtle.
Whoops.
While we're waiting for him to respawn, could you tell me what? How was Utah able to dominate that point so quickly?
So, you know, with that dive composition, it's really hard unless you're playing a counter dive composition, which is really not what we saw Colorado start out with. This Widowmaker is not to those DPS players, but it's really hard when they're able to just kind of get around the side. You know, so they're not really playing an anti-dive comp. So when these teams are able to get in on the healers, we saw Daddy J can really go on that Mercy. She got picked off fairly quickly. It's hard for your teams to really, you know, stay alive and do a lot of, you know, a lot of damage here to this whole dive composition. When you have the whole team really collapsing on your healers, you have to play around the healers. And here we see again, we're seeing the healers and the tanks getting taken out pretty quickly.
Yeah, it just seems a bit of a, I don't want to necessarily call out Colorado for being out of position entirely, but one of their players gets found by one of the dive members of Utah. They get singled out, taken out, and once they have that man advantage, they press it, they keep going, they use the good math, 6 is better than 5, and just kind of able to snowball from there. Now pushing forward, we do see Coalescence coming out from Czarfish here. That should deter some aggression from Utah, but I don't know if this is a fight Colorado really needs to win necessarily, and might not with Daddy J picking up Q Smith early on.
Yeah, and here we see Q Smith switching off that Widowmaker, you know, trying to kind of counter that Tracer. Tracer not really having too much of a counter. She's a very, very strong hero here in Overwatch. You know, there's not much that you really can do to counter this hero. So you know, the McCree definitely one of the better options to pick against someone like Daddy J playing Tracer. But it's really it's a lot better for this as far as anti-dive goes, because McCree's able to sit on his healers and kind of dish out the damage as needed.
Riptire to the face will definitely take out the Tracer though, so that is one way to throw them back. You were concerned about Colorado not having that anti-dive. Well, now we have the McCree, we have the Junkrat. I think they have the tools to fight this now. It's a bit of a skill check though. McCree versus Tracer matchup. That's not a counter, that's the ability to fight. We'll see how they're able to do as Colorado get the first pick off onto Daddy J here.
And here we see Flame Turtle having a really high charge there as Zarya. It's definitely something dangerous. That actually, that Earth Shatter, I'm sorry about that. Really big, hitting a lot of players there from Utah, and Colorado is going to be able to clean up on that system, having really good positioning and really good timing with that Earth Shatter. Very important when you're playing Reinhardt.
A good combination of the Coalescence with that ultimate. What I've heard a lot of these players say in some of the practice, like VOD review things that I've seen these players do, the tank players shouldn't die unless ultimates come out. It's all about managing the ultimates, the ult combos well. What Utah's doing, that's just textbook how you play in these conditions. I'm sorry, that was Colorado. Colorado did that.
Yeah, you know, Colorado doing the switches, but, you know, as we saw, when Colorado made those switches against that anti-dive composition, and, you know, after that Reinhardt ultimate came out, we saw a lot of switches from Utah. I think they did them just a little bit before as well. But now we see Utah playing that triple take composition after Colorado had switched to that anti-dive to make sure they could protect their healers. And now, you know, Utah coming in playing the triple tank, having a lot of pushing power and having a lot of frontline, you know, frontline mobility. These tanks are going to have a hard time dying because there's a big health pool there in the front. This kind of death ball you're going to see coming in. And here we see another Earth Shatter coming out from Tetrum. You know, able to get Czarfish there in the back, but not able to get the pick.
It wasn't exactly the biggest impact play they would have wanted, but the rest of Utah follows up regardless. That's faith in your teammates right there. But now they need to clean off this payload. Colorado, they want to make the stall efforts. Czarfish trying to make it happen for his team will fall down. See some people trickling out of spawn, trying to make it happen, but Flashbang in the gate denies the system the chance to get in here, and it's going to be a very quick full take of Hollywood for Utah.
Yeah, Utah doing a really good job as far as their switches go, and as far as that, you know, in like that dive composition. They played really the right composition there for that map. They wanted to get in on that first control point. That's very important with that control point. The more time that you have, when you capture that control point to push the payload, the better, because that first initial walkthrough to that first checkpoint is actually fairly long, and it can be pretty hard to defend because it's very linear. And like I said, there's a lot of flanking opportunities. So the more time you have on that first control point, the better. And when you all can get onto it immediately and kind of clean house, that's something that we really wanted to see.
So good chance for them to establish some very early success here in our match. One thing I saw that kind of concerned me a little bit, I think we saw just a few too many instances of Utah players kind of getting caught out, picked off for not too much in return. A lot of times Daddy J dying, just walking back to the fight. It worked for him this time. I don't know if that kind of play is going to keep turning results, though, as we go forward.
Yeah, you know, and as defense, you know, when you get those picks on those flankers, like, you know, as we saw Daddy J die a few times, as Tracer when he was there in the back line, you know, when defense gets those picks, it's really hard to capitalize on them because usually the attack's going to pull off and they're going to pull back a lot. And they're not going to really want to push in once they have that one pick. And defense, I mean, as far as where they were being held at that choke, they couldn't really push too far forward because the spawn was right there just around the corner.
Same time, I'd say that's kind of their win condition there. So we will see how things handle with the roles reversed. I do believe we are ready to get into the second round on Hollywood. Let's see if I can keep the team straight this time. So now, your boys defending, it's Utah. Colorado have to outperform their offensive push. Tank heavy, rushing forward with that Lucio speed boost, looking to add the fuel into this comp here.
Yeah, you know, really interesting to see exactly what Utah's running. They're running one healer here. They're definitely going to be relying on their tanks to defend that Torbjorn turret. Flame Turtle's going to have to do a really good job as far as positioning with that turret. If he's not able to get very many picks, we're going to have to rely on CX Dave to do a lot of this healing here as Solo Mercy.
Now, Sin and DJ clear out 3 of those players very quickly. Colorado, they make some progress on the point, but the fight going very handily the way of Utah. Just a few players left, cleaned up by Dog21.
Yeah, and there we saw Daddy J get a few early picks there early on, and they really want to be taking care of Daddy J a little bit earlier, for sure. Daddy J has a very strong Widowmaker, definitely something to be watching out for. He's able to push up, as you saw there, and as soon as he sees any danger, he's able to back off, which is really very smart play here from Daddy J. He's able to get a lot of picks here in the back line, and if they don't take care of him, you know, it's a lot of threat. There we see System going down as Winston going a little bit too far forward as his team.
All right, and now Colorado will try to push forward regardless. If they get the res onto System, they move on to the point. Contest is good from Utah. Starfish falls down early. That's a big one. D-Mech onto the Diva is good. AJ wants to find this Mercy. His own Mercy finds a kill onto Chohapu. And again, Utah cleaning up shop. Starting to look grim. Chohapu. And now it's looking a little grim for Colorado here as the ult advantage is significantly in favor of Utah.
Yeah, you know, Utah having a lot of ulti. That Torbjorn Molten Core, really a strong ultimate as it makes Torbjorn very tanky and his turret very tanky as well. Able to dish out a lot of damage. And you're going to see Tetram really just kind of sitting on that turret too. His shield, you're not going to see him move too far away. Daddy J pushing a little bit too far forward,
but now
unfortunately.
This is the opportunity for Colorado. They've got the pick onto Daddy J. Q Smith needs to be careful they don't blow this chance. They've got the Orisa, they've got the Coalescence. The push forward needs to happen right here. Atomic Spoon wants to find the Mercy. Diva Bomb takes out System, and that's big.
Yeah, that is actually huge. There we see both tanks going down there for Colorado. Really unfortunate, but like I said, as we saw when Q Smith was trying to push up, he looked directly up at that Orisa, protecting that Torbjorn turret, and it's just something they really can't do about it because that turret's able to stay up because Tetram really is just keeping his that shield there as Orisa on that turret. He hasn't moved. He doesn't really need to.
Not at all. But that's your textbook Overwatch. Your tanks go down, rush forward, attack visor, and clean up shop. Now Colorado stuck in their spawn. Utah very far forward, staggering these respawns and profiting massively in the time department. Colorado is having a lot of their time burned down as they're trapped unable to leave spawn.
Well, you know, definitely a risky thing for Utah to do, actually, pushing up onto the spawn of Colorado. As if they do get picked off, as they're in a very dangerous situation, as we see both Sin and Daddy J getting picked off by Atomic Spoon. This is really big here for Colorado. CX Dave able to get a resurrection on Sin, which is really important as well. But, you know, now we see Utah down 1. As far as this defense goes, this is not in a position that they want to be. CX Dave now falling as well.
CX Dave is down. They throw that Diva Bomb up there, want to take care of the Torbjorn turret. They do just that. This could be Colorado's fight here. Attack Visor is available. Attack Visor is popped. He's looking for Sin. Has to do a defense matrix in his path, though. Coming close, finds Daddy J. Q Smith against the world. Without his team, he cannot push on to that point.
Yeah, unfortunately, very low health when he started that tactical visor. You know, not really having that healing pod available to him. when he popped it. Not able to find a lot of picks. It looks like he had his eyes set on Sin. Unfortunately, Sin was able to back off and deal enough damage to him to make Q Smith feel a little bit scared there. Flame Turtle switching off the Torbjorn after that turret goes down onto the Doomfist.
That is a good way to catch out a lot of the members of Colorado. Great easy man advantages. It's going to be important stall here. We are in overtime, folks. Drygrass trying to keep his tanks alive. System takes out 2. Diva Bomb on the table. Wants to clear off that point. Takes out Czarfish. But the res looking to come through from Drygrass. Utah running out of bodies to throw at this point. Takes off Q Smith. 3 on the point, 4 for the contest.
It looks like Colorado might actually be able to take this point here. It looks like Tetram eventually falling down. CX Dave being on that Lucio, trying to contest that point as much as possible, but it looks like Colorado will take that point there, here in overtime. Very impressive there from Colorado to kind of hold their own and make sure that they held that point and got the necessary picks after Utah had to make those switches off the Torbjorn and off the Orisa. They didn't have that dedicated turret damage to come out anymore.
They broke that hyper defense comp and were able to capitalize massively as a result. Now Daddy J caught in a bit of a tracer duel. Q Smith, danger from behind, doesn't realize where he's taking damage from. Able to clean up Daddy J with some help from Czarfish. So now Colorado keeps their push up with a little man advantage.
Yeah, this is really important for Colorado to actually stay on the payload here at this point. Not let Utah get behind them. Here we see Utah holding that high ground. Very important for Utah to be able to do that. Now they're able to all drop in and collapse there onto Colorado. Unfortunately, Q Smith, not finding too much with that tack visor. We saw Flame Turtle eventually going down there to Atomic Boom.
Goes good now Q Smith, one of the last to fall. Drygrass with an interesting choice in res. I think you kind of are, as that fight's just about over. Save the res for the next one. Now they're just having this extended engagement, and that really does not favor Colorado in their limited time.
Yeah, I really do agree with you there. Colorado needed to hold that point. Unfortunately, they're not able to be on that point anymore. So now they really have to get back onto that payload to be able to push it again. They all 6 of them need to get back on that payload. That's why it's very important to hold that payload once you're already on it, because now they have to reset and they have to get back on it. Unfortunately, Daddy J is going to sit here in the backline and able to pick off a lot of key picks. Drygrass she really tried to get back to that tracer to get that res because they needed that six-man push. Daddy J taking care of them though.
Now Flame Turtle with the Genji Blade, trying to fight through the sound barrier, not quite able to do so, but had a sound barrier of his own, so he doesn't die here. The survivors of Colorado trying to push forward, having trouble hitting this mobile Genji, but real easy if you're a Winston. System takes him down.
You're very, very smart there from the system to jump onto that Genji and make sure that that low health Genji did get taken out, as it is very hard for everybody to hit him. You're going to see a really, really hard contest here for this payload, as Colorado is going to look to get on it as much as possible. Unfortunately, Dog21 coming out with the big Diva Bomb there. Dog21 doing a very good job as far as positioning that Diva Bomb, getting it up in the air and having it land perfectly, getting 3 picks there. Very strong there. Dog21 coming out with that Diva play. Unfortunately, Colorado not able to get back on the point.
Utah dropping all of the bombs in that final fight here on Hollywood. Opens with a beautiful pulse bomb play, closes it with a lovely Diva Bomb. Geez, I wonder which play this was.
Yeah, and probably will be this, this play here from Dog21. Let's see if he positions. There we go. So like I said, he launches it up into the air and lets it fall. And as it falls, he wants it to kind of still be in the air when it blows up, because it has a kind of sphere radius when it blows up. So there's not many places to hide when it's above you. There's not too much head cover there in Hollywood unless you're under those balconies. So it's really hard to kind of get out of the way of that Diva Bomb. Dog21 doing a really good job with that positioning, and obviously coming in with the play of the game. Well deserved.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of the play has to be, though, just when Dog21, he lands on the roof and actually finishes Atomic Spoon just with the mech call. That's just some style points right there in the end. Some say it's lucky, but that was... And I just think that's always fun, getting people with a mech drop. Not very reliable, so it's damage, but when it does, feels good, man.
Yeah, and it also has kind of a pushback, so you'll see a lot of boops come out with that mech recall too. I've seen it recently on Lijiang Tower. When that mech recall comes in, you'll actually kind of just get pushed off the edge. It's really unfortunate, but it's actually a very strong tactic if you're able to do it right. However, it's really hard, as you're very very squishy as D.Va, you know, as kind of what we like to call baby D.Va. But you know, when you're sitting there as baby D.Va, you don't have as big of a health pool, so you can die pretty quickly if you're trying to position yourself. So a lot of times, like you said, it's kind of just for style or kind of just a lot of luck. I don't know if it's entirely planned, but if it is planned, very good play on you.
Entirely calculated. Every time. There has never been a lucky kill attained by a D.Va ever. I stand by that.
I mean, I'll agree with you there. Then I mean, if you're gonna stand by that word, that's all you. But also Colorado doing a really good job there on the attack as well, able to get that first point in overtime. It's a very hard point to get into overtime because once you start trickling in, I don't believe they really did start trickling in. But if you do start trickling in, it's actually a fairly long walk there for the attack and for the defense. Obviously longer for the defense, but they did a really good job on getting that point and cleaning up that Torbjorn there with that D.Va bomb we saw towards the end, making those forced switches there for Utah as they weren't able to get set back up. So Colorado did a really good job that match as well.
I think one of the strongest things they did was their ability to get pickoffs, to create man advantages for themselves. They struggled a little bit in capitalizing, and they themselves had trouble getting picked off a bit too much. They clean up in those two areas, and I think they have a very serious chance of taking some games off of Utah, especially as we get ready to go into our next map. I do believe that is going to be Assault on Hanamura. So
yeah, it seems like it is Assault on Hanamura. You are correct. Hanamura, I don't like that map personally, really. You know, as we're gonna go ahead and see this fly over here in just a second. But Hanamura is just a really difficult map to kind of really get that first push on. That chokehold is one of the most difficult chokeholds besides Temple of Anubis. I don't really like seeing exactly how how you have to kind of play those compositions. Personally, when I like to play, I like to just kind of play Bastion and just kind of eat through the shields that you're gonna have all on that first choke point, and then push into the point. Or you'll see a lot like we saw at first, a lot of those dive compositions. They're just gonna push right past those shields. They're gonna get that Lucio for all the people on the ground to go right through those shields, and then obviously we're gonna have the Winston and the D.Va, kind of just flying over everybody and getting directly under the point and forcing them to fight in a more open area. And it's a very hard thing to do, but as we see these teams here, they are very composed, and we're most likely going to see a lot of dive compositions come out from them.
So as we get onto that map, as we head on over there, I think one of the important things to keep in mind is these maps are loser's choice, right?
Correct.
This was selected by Colorado because they believe of all the assault maps, this is the one that's going to bring them the most result of victory. So when we go to Hanamura, what are you expecting them to bring out? When you see someone select this map, what in the back of your mind, what do you think this team's drafting for?
So if they're going to start on defense, or I can't remember if they start on defense or on attack, but if they're going to start on defense, we're going to want to see them play an anti-dive composition, as we're going to see that dive composition coming out most likely on attack. So you want to see the anti-dive composition on defense, or you're really going to have a hard time getting back to the point. If you don't play an anti-dive composition, you won't have time to get back to the point if you're holding up forward and they all just kind of get past you.
And is kind of so execution, a big part of what goes on into that. We will just have to see what Colorado really has in mind, what they want to do. How are they going to get themselves comfortable as they try to get another match here? Because while we do have the full course 4 matches here, it is still 1 if they just take 3. If Utah gets another one, it's match point going forward. No one wants to be in that situation. You don't want to have your back against the wall like that.
You definitely don't want to have your back against the wall. And it looks like we are ready to go in here to just a quick map overview here before we start this match as everybody gets ready. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to that. And here we see, just the spawn position and, kind of all these points just leading up here into this first point, as we're probably going to see here, right here. Very open after you get past that first chokehold, that we can't quite see yet. We're just kind of dodging it here on all of these camera positions, but that first chokehold, that very wide open arch of a door, it can be held very strongly there with shield tanks. And here we see we're going to come out immediately, and we're going to see Colorado is starting on that defense. Not really playing too much of an anti-dive composition, however, but Utah not really playing a super dive-heavy composition either. So it looks like it's going to be kind of a battle for these shields right now. And here we see Tetram kind of pushing in very directly, being very forceful, pushing forward, which is really what you want to see. They want to push these guys back.
And now Flame Turtle on that tank DPS, which he has shown he likes to do here. Catches the enemy Diva, puts some damage into her, but that is a hard target for Roadhog to execute. He does catch a breather for himself, but is being chased down by a lot of damage. Daddy J wins the Widowmaker duel, trying to make it happen for his team. Sin with another kill here. Colorado support system starting to fall apart. Atomic Spoon falls down.
Unfortunately, Colorado really not able to hold that defense as much as they would have liked to. I really would have liked to see Flame Turtle being taken out a little bit earlier there by that Diva. You know, we saw Flame Turtle drop almost to I think about 48 health there. You know, very low health and a very big target for Diva to really hit. Most likely could have been finished there. I would have liked to see him get taken out a little bit earlier. Colorado might have had a little bit more of a chance had that happen. And again, with that Widowmaker duel, you know, it's really hard to see those Widowmaker duels come out. But when Utah came out on top with that one, they definitely had you know, a lot better of a chance.
But now some of the early kills have gone the way of Colorado. That should slow down Utah's offensive here. We saw them really invest in that Lucio charge after taking point A. Flame Turtle, let's Q Smith get a little ult charge, showing him a little good sportsmanship, trying to keep things even here. The rest of the team pushes on with the speed boost. They've got 3 tanks and a whole lot of ultimates. Earthshatter comes on out, looking at the advantage. Answered back in kind. Colorado could be in a good spot here. Flame Turtle goes down. System
doing a really good job with that counter, that counter Earthshatter. That Earthshatter was really strong, hitting about 3 or 4 players there from Utah. They're able to capitalize a lot on it, but unfortunately, Dog21 here with this Zarya held that you know, held that Graviton Surge, able to catch a lot of people there from Colorado, and Sin coming out with the Coalescence, able to clean up in that ball of Graviton Surge.
And now as Utah starts to capture this point, that's just the flip side of this full combination dominant meta. Recognizing that throwing an Earthshatter and a Graviton Surge at the same time, you're not doing yourself any favor. Using one, holding the other for the second wind of the fight, that's going to do everything. Daddy J doing everything. 2 consecutive headshots, 2 consecutive kills. Man's a monster.
Daddy J, that Widowmaker is absolutely ridiculous. There you go. See another headshot there on Kohapu as that Diva. And it looks like Utah is going to clean house. That hook onto the Tracer just before she blinked, able to kind of reduce her mobility there and able to get the pick. Utah coming in, doing a full good push there with about 5 minutes left.
So a very convincing first showing here from Utah, not leaving much time at all for Colorado to, well, it's kind of hard to beat that time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Even if they do get the full capture of Hanamura, this goes to I guess a tiebreaker is the appropriate word here. It's going to be very hard for Colorado to match that time. They'll likely have a disadvantage in a tiebreaker if it comes to that.
Yeah, you know, we want to see Colorado at least getting that 5 minutes. If they don't get that 5 minute, I'm sorry, I just kicked the camera. I need to stop moving my feet, guys. It's terrible. Terrible casting. Anyway, as I said, Colorado, we want to see them at least getting 5 minutes there for that push. If they get under 5 minutes, they are, like you said, going to come in at that disadvantage, and they're not going to have as much time if we do end up going into the tiebreaker and having each team go on a push again. Utah coming out really strong here on this Hanamura map. Colorado not exactly finding what they wanted to find. System coming in on that second point with a very good Reinhardt ultimate, but unfortunately not able to capitalize on it.
Just didn't plan out the way they wanted it to. But now, so Colorado, they've got to be quick. So let's quickly head on over to our second round with the defense, offense switched. That's a good way to shake things up so that these teams can really be that dominant. Daddy J with the far forward ambush positioning on this Tracer.
Yeah, we want to see a lot of flanking here from Daddy J. We've actually seen him doing a lot of flank opportunities here in these games, and here we're going to see him kind of start looking for that mercy. He's going to find that Junkrat there at first. Definitely not somebody you want to find first. Junkrat's able to do a lot of damage to you, and if you don't have if your movement's a little bit off, you could get hit by 2 bombs, and that would be the end of your life if Junkrat throws his landmine there and finishes you off.
But now, speaking of finished off, Colorado, they got some good positioning going for themselves. Had to back off, though. Had to recognize that that particular push was a little finished, I guess is where I was going with that. But now, pushing forward again. Speed boost coming through. Utah needs to move back. Just kidding. They're moving forward with 3 kills to their name early on.
Utah doing a really good job cleaning up these pushes here from Colorado. Colorado playing a very static composition here right now with that Orisa. Orisa's not able to have too much movement. She's very slow. You know, combined with that Lucio, she gets a little bit faster, but she is very static. It's very hard to kind of push up very strongly with her, as her shield, again, like I said, is static. So we want to see most likely Reinhardt coming out from system. And here we see Daddy J getting a lot of damage there on Dry Grasses. She did a really good job of escaping, though, and Daddy J eventually getting taken out. However, that was a very good flank there. Flame Turtle coming in, picking up Atomic Spoon, and Q Smith there with the Riptire.
So, Daddy J didn't quite get the flank they wanted, but Flame Turtle does not care. Comes straight through the front, blows everyone to high heaven, sends Colorado back to the drawing board as they look to attack on point A, with their time dwindling down, approaching 2 minutes.
Here we see Tetrum sitting on the ceiling. Interesting pick. You know, kind of like you said, a monkey thing. You know, actually really interesting to see him able to hold this as he is falling right now. So when he does this, he actually is falling, and he has to position himself perfectly so he doesn't end up sliding off that cliff. Very good positioning there from Tetrum. So Colorado can't really see exactly where he is, and he was able to get that drop. Unfortunately, Colorado doing a really good job picking off a lot of Utah right now.
All that positioning does not stop a sound barrier. They've got decent control of this point. Nano boost onto Daddy J. Looking good, but he's got a lot of targets to chew through, even with the nano boost. I don't think he has the DPS to chew through all the tanks of Colorado. He can stall, but it's going to be very hard for him to stop this capture here. Finds Drygrass if he can. That'd be a big play for his team. Continues the stall. Reinforcements not going to be on their way. Utah calls it there. As Colorado does not want to get caught tripling in on the defense. Yeah,
Colorado actually having a lot of time here coming in onto the second point, coming in with 5 minutes left. They're going to have a little bit less time if they do end up capturing this the second point than Utah, but they do have a really good chance. 5 minutes is a lot of time. They're going to have quite a few pushes and quite a few chances to build their ults here to really counter Utah. And here we see Flame Turtle doing a really good job at comboing with Dog21 on that Zarya, the Graviton Surge, and the Riptire. Very, very good play there. They're using their ultimates together.
That's just what you do. You got a Zarya ultimate, you got a big explosive, put the explosive in the Zarya ultimate. I'm sure there's a Geico commercial about this. Now, Colorado has respawned. Looks like they want to group up on the right-hand side, make their next attempt. Flame Turtle's gonna be waiting, and this man has been hot. Don't get him a jacket.
Definitely don't get him a jacket. He needs to cool down for sure. Flame Turtle doing a really good job getting a lot of key heals there from CX Dave as that Zenyatta. Tetrum trying to get up top, kind of whiffing that jump a little bit there. Able to get on top. Unfortunately, everybody drops down by the time he's able to get on top. Flame Turtle coming in, picking off Atomic Spoon.
And the Ants go marching in. Hurrah, hurrah. They're all dead again. But now Flame Turtle might be caught out, went a little too far forward. But Daddy J saves his life there, does not let him get caught by the Genji. Colorado back to the drawing board. There's definitely something very disjointed about Colorado's push there. I never saw more than like 2 or 3 people on screen for their team at any time. What happened there?
So what we're seeing happen with Colorado is that they're getting picked off a little bit too early on their pushes, and very key players are getting picked off as well. We saw Atomic Spoon get picked off a little bit early in that fight. And that's really unfortunate when you lose one of your tanks, especially when you're playing triple tank. Here we see Starfish getting picked off a little bit earlier there in in that fight. And that's really unfortunate to see. Colorado getting those single picks getting picked off, and then Utah capitalizing as soon as they get those picks. We need to see Colorado kind of moving in as kind of like a death ball here if they're going to play that triple tank composition with that Reinhardt, that you know, the Roadhog and the Diva. You know, maybe a Zarya might work a little bit better here instead of the Roadhog, but System probably feels a little bit better, more comfortable on the Roadhog. And here we see the res is going to come out really early in this fight as well. Draggrasses needs to hold that res, especially with that spawn being so close.
And spawn is in view as you res. No hard fight going on. I'm sorry, that is not a good use of that cooldown. Just not to oversimplify things. Not exactly what you want to be doing with that one. Now, AJ is behind this team, throws out the pulse bomb, finds two. Flame Turtle takes a third, will trade his life for it though. That's all he needed to do. His team's got spawn advantage. He can make those trades all day. Daddy
J doing a very good job on that Tracer, as well as Flame Turtle on the Junkrat. You know, we're seeing a lot of really great play here from University of Utah, and a lot of really great play from Colorado. Colorado just really needs to group up a little bit more and have those, and not get picked off nearly as much. You know, I really want to see Colorado group up just a little bit more. A very good hook onto Flame Turtle. Unfortunately, not able to find that pick. System in a really bad position here with that anti-grenade, and eventually will be taking it.
And then somehow the rest of his team also died as well. We saw so much DPS poured into the tank. I thought maybe, you know, everyone else would be a little safe in the meantime, but not the case. Nowhere safe from this Utah squad here. They want to catch off Colorado early. They've set up very far forward. DJ wants to catch him as soon as possible. They just do not see this guy. He is invisible on their screens. Running around, not quite finding the damage he wants, but Flame Turtle absolutely is. CX Dave opens the engagement for them. Flame Turtle has this ultimate if he needs it. Doesn't seem like that's going to be necessary. They've got a Winston in the Primal Rage. They've got all the kills going their way. Flame Turtle can hold it for the next one.
Flame Turtle is definitely going to hold this ultimate for the next one, as well as Sin, and you know, we're going to see Dog21 coming up with the ultimate as well. They're all going to be holding their ultimates. It's going to be really interesting to see exactly how they want to combo these in. The Diva ultimate coming through the Reinhardt shield, not really able to find anybody, and Flame Turtle picking off Drygrasses and Kohaku. Two really big picks there. You know, Utah doing a very, very good job holding them off of this point here.
At this point, the match is kind of snowballing out of control. Colorado, they understand they're on the clock. They're trying to make things happen quickly, and Utah is punishing their haste. They're picking off one by one by one by one. Time their respawns, they cannot group properly, and they are just running out of time. They hardly have enough time for a soldier to sprint unimpeded to that point. Spoiler alert, he's going to be a little impeded here by Utah's defense. Earthshatter is good. Tac Visor to follow up. There's one onto Sin, but he's just shooting into tanks now. Not easy, but Tetrum will fall down. Colorado, they have to hurry. Daddy J says, put a cap in that. Not going anywhere. Daddy J cleans up the last one of the day.
System doing a very good job with, sorry about that. Yeah, but like I said, you know, now I can't even remember what I said because I feel bad for interrupting you. Oh.
To be fair, I kind of interrupted you back, so it's mutual interrupting, so it's almost like it never happened.
It's almost like it never happened. Play the game.
Flame Turtle killed some people. That's kind of the story of this game for me. Colorado tried to do stuff, Flame Turtle killed them.
I mean, yeah, you know, Flame Turtle doing a really good job on that Junkrat. A lot of fun to see Flame Turtle on Junkrat, honestly. Junkrat's a really fun character to see exactly how he can be played. There's a lot of interesting play styles for Junkrat. You can either play very forward or very far back. As far as playing very far back, it's not really a common play style anymore, as he's very strong, you know, with those mines, able to throw out those mines very, you know, having two of those mines, able to pick off those squishy characters. He's played a lot more forward now, and it's really interesting to see exactly how Junkrat can be played in this current meta as well.
We saw Flame Turtle very flexible with it. We saw him up, we saw him down, all around, bombs everywhere. Not fun if you're the guys from Colorado. So, you, being the incredibly skilled DPS player that you are, you, in your ranked games, you just got destroyed by a Junkrat in your first match, and you know that same Junkrat player is going to be coming at you in the next one. What adjustments are you making?
You know, as far as the adjustments that you want to play against a Junkrat, you want to play somebody that can play a little bit farther back. Widowmaker is very good against Junkrat, as Junkrat can't really get up to her as if she's in a good position. Widowmaker can be good as far as you have, as long as you have a very skilled Widowmaker. I'm not the most best Widowmaker, but I'm also not the worst. I honestly have kind of a hard time with Junkrats personally. A lot of the time, as you know, as they're flying through the air, it can be a little bit difficult to kind of really line up a shot. But somebody that plays a little bit farther back, as Junkrat's really just kind of get in everybody's faces. If you're kind of playing a death ball, you don't want people that are going to be grouped up. You want to be a little bit more spread out, so you have more of a chance to get that Junkrat. But you know, Widowmaker Soldier being a really good choice as well, as long as you can kind of pick off that Junkrat before he gets to you. But once he is in that close range, it is a little bit of a more rough fight.
I have to agree that Soldier and Widowmaker are some of the obvious selections. I think Soldier's a little easier to handle that with a little less mechanical skill input. We saw just how slippery Flame Turtle was on the Junkrat. We saw people diving on top of him, and they had him dead to rights, and he just flies away. Pretty mobile for a rat with one leg.
Pretty mobile with a rat for one leg, and especially with that peg leg. You know, peg legs are really hard to be as far as mobility goes. But if you can step on a mine with that peg leg, I mean, you've got so much more mobility. It's a lot less hurtful when you can't feel it.
Yeah, well, I do believe when you can't feel things, it doesn't hurt. So, very astute observation there, friend.
I don't know. My jokes are bad. Sorry.
So are mine. At least you're not laughing at your own.
I mean, we can all laugh at our own jokes, so who doesn't? Right?
But people probably not as much as I do. Not as much as I do. So, next map, gonna be our King of the Hill, whatever you want to call that, on Ilios, as I am being informed. What do you want to see from Colorado here? What change-ups do they want to make if they do not want to get 3-0 swept by Utah?
So with these kind of King of the Hill maps, or you know, whatever you want to call it, so many different names. I like to call it King of the Hill. But you're going to see kind of either a lot of death ball compositions, so compositions that can really stay alive. So you might see a lot of triple tank. You might even see quad tank. It's kind of an iffy one, as it's really hard to pull off. So you're kind of either going to see triple tank or a lot of dive as well, because especially if you want to kind of push up or kind of get back to the point, you might see a lot of dive as well. But it just really depends on, honestly, on the map. You know, as we see Ilios coming out, it depends on what version of the map. If you have just kind of, for instance, if you have Well, you're going to see Roadhog, most likely Zarya, and Orisa. You know, that triple tank, a lot of pulls coming in with that Lucio and most likely a Moira as well, because there's a lot of opportunities with that Well to get a lot of picks. But when you're playing Lighthouse, you're not going to really want the Roadhog as much, but instead you're going to probably see Zarya, Reinhardt, and you know that third tank, most likely a Diva, as it's kind of a close point. Then you're going to see again the Moira, Lucio. So it just depends really on the map. You can play a lot of Widowmaker as far as ruins go as well, as it's a very open area.
Even I can be effective on a sniper on ruins. That's so much fun. You know, when you're at elo as low as I am, you just like stand up far enough point. People forget you're there, and you just occasionally kill people. It's a great time. But these are not games of my elo level. Any snipers trying to set up far away on ruins, they're going to have some very good Diva and Winston players coming at them. We see Utah really likes these very tank-heavy comps. Flame Turtle, their DPS, Dog 21 on their flex, they still go for like these DPS tanks. And, well, that can be really frustrating for a Widowmaker to deal with. You want to get your quick headshots off. They just got too much health to kill.
Big health pools. Big health pools a lot is definitely in the meta. Like you said, you can't really, you got to click their heads 2 or 3 times, and especially with how much healing a Lucio and a Moria can provide, there's a lot of head clicking as Widowmaker, and there's just too much health. So it's kind of hard to play. It's definitely a very good counter to Widowmaker. And here we see, it looks like the teams are ready to go into Ilios here as we set up for the quick map flyover. Here we see Ruins here as far as the first point goes. I'm not sure exactly what the first point's going to be. This flyover is a very general flyover.
I do wish there was a slightly more convenient way we could know which one we were going on to, but I imagine we're going to find out pretty quickly. It does look like we are going to be heading into Lighthouse. I love this one. The potential for environmental kills for Lucios and Faras can be an absolute pleasure to watch. Think we're going to see any Pharah come out?
You know, we could see Pharah in this map, but it just depends on what they were going to run. We do see Colorado running Pharah on Q-Smith. Really interesting. You have to run a Mercy there, so we're going to see Mercy on Q-Smith a lot, and Starfish doing the rest of the healing on the rest of his team. They're going to be fairly grouped together, as the healing can be a little bit rough if Mercy is not able to get down in time.
And now Tandon will take out Atomic Spoon early on. Note, Mewtwo now has switched in for Utah. Tandon on the skirts of this fight, trying to circle around these tanks. Lost to a few too many teammates in this engagement. Flame Turtle not too happy about it. Sin takes out Q-Smith, and Utah starting to come back into this one fairly quickly.
Yeah, you see Tandon, we see him getting subbed in for Daddy J, and also Mewtwo getting subbed in for Tetrum. This is really interesting. Tandon has a very strong Genji. Actually a lot stronger there than Flame Turtles, and here we see it coming out. Tandon getting that Dragon Blade pretty quickly and able to clean point, and it looks like Utah's going to be able to take that point at first. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly how Utah plays here with both of these players getting subbed in.
It's always a good chance for those subs kind of prove their skills. Orisa shield battle kind of going the way of Utah. Colorado has to find a different way forward. But I want to talk about Sin on this Zenyatta. Has a very strong showing, been making life very difficult for that Pharah. People in matchmaking, they like to say, get your soldiers, get your McCrees for the Pharas, but a good Zenyatta can absolutely do the job.
A good Zenyatta can definitely do the job. Sin doing a very, very good job there. Flame Turtle playing that Tracer. Don't really see him on Tracer as much. Getting a really good pick there on Zarfish, however. Doing a really good job sitting here in the back lane. Most likely would take out Atomic Spoon? No, it looks like he's going to have to back off.
Came very close there, showing Daddy J not the only one on this team who can get those fast Tracer pickoffs. Gets a very good pulse bomb. We see Zarfish on Lucio. Tries to get on that point. Goes for a little bit of a back cap there. If it works, hey, wonderful. If it doesn't, okay, well, we try again. I like the opportunist mindset there.
Ooh.
Flame Turtle making the risky play. Even if you make that jump, I am not a huge fan of that one. Too much risk, not enough reward, because it will leave you without your dashes.
And he is hiding in a bush right now. This is a very effective play. We're actually seeing a lot of PUBG play coming in here into Overwatch, sitting in bushes. It's very interesting to see exactly how that plays out. Drygrass is getting taken out by Tandon. Again, the bush play. Really interesting seeing it work.
It's all about building that confidence for your sub players. Sometimes you get in your head, you're a substitute. You feel like maybe you're not as good as the other guys, so that's why Flame Turtle, he has to step back, give them that opportunity to perform, and they're capitalizing on it when they're just as good as the rest of this squad. As Utah makes a very strong showing here in Lighthouse, take it very quickly.
Yeah, Utah doing a really good job on that first point in Lighthouse, like you said. And again, the subs really doing a really good job. Tandon coming out with that Genji and really cleaning house really well. Like you said, Flame Turtle kind of just sitting in a bush, letting Tandon really do all the work. There's a lot of opportunities there that Flame Turtle probably had to kind of pop out and maybe get a little bit of damage out and getting a little bit of picks, but kind of just letting the Genji take care of everything.
You got to respect the low health. They needed healing. Their healers couldn't get to them. Done. You know, just don't make your healers go through much trouble to get to you if say, one of their healers invested too much trying to dash on over to that Tracer, get the healing to that bush. They might just lose a healer for no good reason there. Yeah. Sometimes there's a good reason to hide in a bush.
You are completely correct, and you know what? It worked. And it looks like we are already here moving on here to the next round here for Ilios. We're going to see if Utah can 2-0 or if they will go 1-1, and they will have to play a third version of this map. Here we see Well coming in, and like I said, we see the Orisa and the Roadhog coming out with Utah and Colorado. Looks like they're just going to run that Orisa, not the Roadhog either, but they do have the Lucio for the boops into the well. A lot of picks are able to come out. Flame Turtle on the Hongo.
Utah getting some of the early good positioning here, but hold that. thought. I believe that is a Diva dead in the pit. Dog21 with the double kill with the hook right there.
I guess you could technically call it a double kill. That is completely correct. Unfortunately, I don't know. I actually don't think the mech unfortunately counts as an elimination, but it technically is a double kill. As you know, the
Two
mech
things in the kill feed. It's a double kill.
I'd take it too. Here we see Q-Smith doing a really good job staying in the air, not really getting picked off, able to deal a lot of damage. Unfortunately, doesn't really have too much of a team behind him right now, not able to get too much done. And here we see Diva, unfortunately, getting demeched and taken out.
21 not able to get another double kill there. Teammate follows up for him instead. Well, they're off to a very good start is Utah in this match point of match points. Match points for Ilios, match points for this set. Colorado, they got to make something happen, and they got to do so quickly. They've got a Dragon Strike lot to fight through if they try too carelessly.
They definitely have to kind of play this one a little bit carefully, as it kind of is a kind of a funnel. So if Hanzo shoots, you know, that Dragon Strike through the middle, they're going to have to kind of take a different route. And it looks like that's what they're doing. I think they know that Flame Turtle, actually it looks like he just used it. They all had backed off. But I think they knew that Flame Turtle did have that ultimate up. So he kind of needed to move out of the way. And here we see Tandon coming in, kind of pushing in forward to the base. Again, this is a really risky strategy, as if they get picked off there, you know, so far forward, there's not much reses that can come out, and there's not much they can do. They would have to walk back, and Colorado can capitalize on it if they end up getting a pick. Mutotone, you know, looks like taking out Kohaku there with the boot.
Now the surviving members of Colorado, they have speed boosted. They want on this point. Zarfish kind of left the rest of his team behind, though, trying to make that play happen. Survives the attack from CX Dave. Flame Turtle does not survive the attack from the Call of the Void. And now that could be the opportunity that Colorado needs to push forward. They've got this barrage. They've got the bongo, I guess, nothing else to call it here. And a Riptire coming from the top. Takes out CX Dave. This could be their fight.
This could definitely be their fight there. Colorado doing a really good job. Sin popping out that Zenyatta ultimate. Looks like it goes down. Dog21 getting pushed into the well by Zarfish. Colorado doing a really good job. Unfortunately, Atomic Spoon falling into the well with that boop from Mutotone, and Sin taking out Dry Grasses as well.
We are now in overtime. Flame Turtle throws out the Dragon Strike in the general direction of Colorado. Wants to get him there. A little too slow a projectile to catch anyone, though. Needs to find the quick kills. Wants to take out Smith here out of the air. Diva Bomb comes out to throw back Utah. Does get CX Dave, but now Flame Turtle takes two very quickly, looking for the third. He's been trying to kill this Farah all this entire time, but has to work through a sound barrier now. One more hit, anything! Jump up and melee him, I don't care! Sin finishes it off. Dragon Blade for the street sweep. But Colorado did technically take the point. Gives them a little bit of time, but I doubt they're going to be able to respawn in time to stop this particular overtime countdown. And that's going to be it for Ilios, folks. Utah up, Rio, in convincing fashion, secures the win over Colorado.
Yeah, Utah doing a really good job on this map. Colorado also they did a really good job as far as the defense goes, but they didn't make the necessary switches there a little bit earlier on, and they were able to, they kind of got stuck in the spawn there a few times, actually both times on both versions of this map, on both Lighthouse and Well. Unfortunately, Mutotone coming in with the play of the game, that supercharger, able to boost up a lot of damage.
A very nice job from Colorado, but a fantastic job from Utah, putting their mark on this. We do have our fourth match, just the format we roll here, which, while it does kind of seem like a hopeless endeavor for Colorado, the match is lost. This is a chance for them to do some experimentation. They can bring out some strategies that they might not want to risk in a higher stakes match here. Kind of the same value that our show matches have, except, well, within your own division.
That is correct. And this fourth match also gives them a chance to really kind of up their game score, because we have two kind of different scores. They have the group score, which means if you won or lost a game, and then we have the game scores, which is what your score is on depending on the 4 maps that you played. So even if you did lose 3 games, you can still have a chance to win one of the games and kind of up your game score a little bit, and that actually does affect your standings on as far as the rankings go as well, when you have kind of those tied teams there up on top. So it's really it'll be really nice to see them if they can get at least one win here. to kind of help their game score and not fall too far down on those standings.
It'll be a little hard for them to fall too far here. They were 2-0 coming into this one. The standing's still going to be fairly respectable. Obviously, a slight deal less favorable than it was before. They had a bit of a hard match for them. So if you had to identify one core problem that Colorado can improve, something that they work on, they'll see some better results on, what would you say that would be?
Colorado definitely needs to work on staying grouped up. We saw them get picked off kind of one by one and kind of trickle in. When they get picked off that first pick, they need to kind of back off and regroup again and kind of stay grouped up. We saw that Widowmaker getting those picks very often, and Colorado needs to kind of stay grouped up and push together as a team of 6 instead of a team of 5. If they have one man down, they need to wait.
All right. Definitely something that Colorado might want to keep in mind. Some of their coaches probably talking to them about. I do believe we have our little match record here to look at, help us understand what's been going on, although it's not much to see, just a whole lot of red. But the reveal that we'll be looking at Watch Point Gibraltar next. So very fun map, very scenic. Again, this was Colorado's selection. Have we seen them on this particular map before, Zader?
I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember if I've seen Colorado on Watch Point Gibraltar or Utah. You know, my memory actually isn't 100% clear, unfortunately. And I know I say unfortunately a lot, but it's okay.
So you're trying to tell me you do not have infinite reserves of memory of every Overwatch game you've ever watched?
I don't have infinite reserves of memory, unfortunately. You know, and there goes C, like, unfortunately again. You know, really though, as far as my memory goes, I haven't seen him on this map. I really should probably remember, but I know Watch Point Gibraltar is a really interesting map to kind of play on as the first, I mean, really pushing the payload all the way through can take quite a long time, as you can sit in overtime a lot on this map. So we might see a lot of overtime, which will be really fun. It might be a really long map. It just depends on how it goes.
One of the highlights of this map structure, as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of high ground. We talked about Colorado wanting to stick together as a team better. Going to be kind of easier for them on this map to group up on that high ground. It's very intuitive to do here. Right. One of the first maps where new players learn how effective the high ground can be. So I think we're ready to get our little cinematic fly over there so we can see just exactly what I am talking about. Those wonderful high ground opportunities. And I like the map. There's so much lore in it because it's such a central Overwatch location. You really have to fight for your lore in this game, so it's nice to see one place is going to give it to us free.
Yeah, and again, these high ground places, like you said, we see a lot of those bridges, and we see Tandon playing that Widowmaker instead of Daddy J. Really interesting. Daddy J is not going to play this map. He's going to sit there on the high ground as that Widowmaker, and they're going to really want to hold control of this.
It's going to be Flame Turtle on the Doomfist again. Who like to switch out of this one? They're committed. Interesting use of the ground from Utah, setting up at multiple different levels of it. As Colorado, they force their way onto the payload. They've got the Orisa to keep it moving. But now their Mercy player caught in a bit of trouble here. Gets out though. Good job, buddy.
Good job by the Mercy. Really good positioning, actually. Able to have somebody to fly away to, and that's something that you really want to see from Mercy players, is them having an escape when you do get really low health there. Cannon doing a really good job trying to keep that Mercy there out of the way, but the Mercy was still able to provide heals not too far away, but also out of sight.
But now Colorado starting to push forward a good little bit. Utah has yet to really hard commit into a defense to force them off here. It's kind of a staggered defense stand-in, leaving Atomic a little staggered there. System saves himself with the barrier.
Yeah, and here we see Tandon coming out on that high ground, unfortunately dropping down. And it's going to be really hard for him. He needs to get back up on the high ground. Unfortunately, actually, when they play here under the ground, he can be down here, but he will want to get back on the high ground as these teams push up again. We're most likely going to see him grapple hook back up there, and we do see him grapple hook back up there. Flame Turtle doing a really good job, actually, with that Doomfist.
We take a moment to talk about the positioning of the healers here. They're so far back, and they're doing that for their safety, but they picked the perfect heroes to do this because that Zenyatta that on, they can be effective at this range. Tandon, very effective at this range.
Yeah, Tandon doing a really good job keeping Q-Smith out of the game. Q-Smith really needs to either find better positioning or get that headshot first. Here we see Flame Turtle with the really low health at 13 coming in. Really good play there.
The man lives. The man, the legend, trades Dog21 for it, but Dog21 with his ultimate is able to answer some back, and in there is no answer back onto this man. Just kidding, there's a diva here. Gonna send him running so very close. It's just a running theme for the Utah guys.
Yeah, Sin doing a really good job with that Ana. Ana providing a lot of heals there, actually saving Tandon as he dropped down there to 13 health. And we see Mutatone and Flame Turtle getting picked off for Utah. This is Colorado's chance to push.
Standing where the healers could not find them, but Atomic Spoon, he knows where those healers are. They've been in the same place all day. Takes out 2. That's huge. They've still got 2 DPS on the staggered respawns. They've got the healers down. They can really push forward if they want to, and they're so close to this point. Flame Turtle on the Sombra with the contest. Earth Shatter comes on down. Doesn't find too much success though. Bongo dismantled by Mutatone, and Flame Turtle taken out of the fight by the Junkrat trap.
Yeah, you know, Sombra really good, really strong here with this new update in this new meta, able to get that hack out a lot faster. CX Dave doing a really good job holding this point as much as possible. Unfortunately, does have to back off, will get picked off, and Colorado is going to take that first checkpoint. They're going to be given a little bit more time here to push farther. And here we see Q-Smith switching off of that Widowmaker now onto the Genji. 4 health, so close to dying, and he's going to get the heals from Dry Grasses. Great job.
Right on, my dude, Drygrass, keeping that Genji well healed. But now Utah has jumped right onto this backline. Flame Turtle takes him out early on. Drygrass with revive says no more of that nonsense. That's an important resource now on cooldown. That's not bringing back Zarfist, not bringing back Q, not bringing back full Drygrass either.
And unfortunately, you cannot res yourself as Mercy.
How far would that be, though?
Terrible. I mean, that would be great, but I mean, Mercy, as they really have to change her enough, she could resurrect herself. I'm pretty sure she would just be deleted from the game. I mean, I wouldn't want her in the game if she could resurrect herself.
At the same time, once she resurrects herself, what she's going to do? She's so strong because of that resurrect. Well, now she doesn't have resurrect.
You know,
she hot fixes herself out of the game.
You do have a point. There you go, Blizzard. There's your fix. Just make it so Mercy can only resurrect herself.
Right there. So Atomic Spoon tries to make it happen with the Riptire, but chased out, will be detonated early. A lot of kills traded even, but CX Dave on the Manata, not one to be deterred. That's an important target that Colorado has really struggled to take down now. If I think about it, I do believe for every time they have killed CX Dave Zenyatta, they have taken a point of Gibraltar here, so bit of a coincidence, but at the same time, ooh.
Q-Smith, planned.
That man had a family.
He waited on that one. You saw him. He wanted that headshot. Tandon gave it to him, and Q-Smith fired it right back and said, "No, this is your headshot. Your time to die. I don't need to be playing Widowmaker to get long-range kills."
And return to sender. Now, was Utah want to send Colorado back from where they came? That to fight through a lot of support ultimates coming through, keeping them alive, making it hard to find the kills. Flame Turtle and Tandon do manage anyway. The Coalescence was big, but not big enough to win that fight.
And you know, Coalescence is quite a big ultimate.
You know, like takes up a large amount of space on the screen.
Correct.
Very large.
Very, very large.
Incredible volume to that ability.
Terrible jokes. I'm sorry.
And its rate of refilling in the ultimate charge bar also makes kind of big because it fills that space very fast. Always available.
Right. Always available, honestly. You can get your ult charge pretty quickly there, as Moira, you know, has damage able to come out.
Now, seems Utah, they want to surround Colorado with their tanks. Atomic Spoon in a bit of trouble. Tandon, not able to find the side. CX Dave, the real sniper here. And it wants to close this off, but everyone else on his team just too good at their jobs to let him have any kills.
Dog21 being a little bit too far forward there. Mutatone now answering, getting all the way up in there with that Primal Rage, being a very mad monkey. He does not like that they took out his Roadhog at all. He's going to go ahead and take care of that.
I think he's more upset that his team took all the kills for themselves and doesn't want to get anything. Q-Smith with the Dragon Blade wants to find some for himself. Does find Tandon looking for the monkey. not able to mute the tone, and Utah will continue to hold their defense here. Dog 21's Bull Hog is ready. Diva Bomb in a dangerous spot, though.
That Diva Bomb really wasn't a dangerous spot, but Mutotone coming in with that shield. Perfect timing, able to save everybody coming in from that Diva Bomb. Dog 21 holding that whole hog. Looks like he's most likely going to have to pop it right now. It looks like he is picking off dry grasses. That's a very big pick. Mercy going down. Looks like Colorado's not going to have very many healers. Starfish not able to get back in time or not able to get on the point either. Very unfortunate. Flame Turtle doing a really good job on that Sombra. Those Sombra changes kind of coming into show. That hack is pretty ridiculous, if I'm going to be honest. You can use it way too frequently. It now shuts down every single player ever that has ever existed. I mean, Lucios are now useless. I've seen many Lucios fall to their death thinking they could wall ride away from a Sombra, and unfortunately not
Farewell, Lucio. We knew thee well.
Very unfortunate.
Yep. But now we do have one more stage here in this matchup. Is going to be the reversal of roles, as we always do, but I still mention it every time. Anyway, hey, sides are switched. Did you know that after every match, the sides switch between offense and defense?
Well, you know, in some unique cases in custom games, it won't.
Really?
But
I didn't know about that.
That's a custom game.
Mm.
And I mean, these are custom games, but
Yeah.
the rule sets are different. And sometimes if you play quick play, I mean, sometimes you'll end up, I don't know.
Interesting.
Looks like the teams are ready.
Let's go!
Looks like they are switching sides.
This is not
Like
quick
we
play
said.
confirmed.
This is not quick play. You know, quick play, I don't like quick play. Nobody likes quick play. Who plays quick play?
I
Raise
play
your
quick-
hand if you play quick play.
I play quick play.
I don't like quick play.
I just got the dirtiest look on the planet. Okay. I feel a little personally attacked here. Now Flame Turtle on that payload, trying to pump out this damage as the Bastion. His team doing a lot to support him here. Roadhog hook displaces somebody, but Mutotone takes out the hog himself.
Yeah, Mutotone doing a really good job getting these players to kind of spread out away from the shield so Flame Turtle can put out all of the damage on him. Flame Turtle obviously just sitting on the payload, having kind of a free ride, not really needing to move on his own because the payload's doing it for him. And here we see a lot of Colorado kind of getting picked off here. Cannon on that Widowmaker still doing a really good job, and Flame Turtle again kind of just riding the payload along, and you know,
Bastion things.
this is his Uber. Except for he doesn't have to pay for it. It's free. It's free Uber.
Oh, that's a concept, yeah. Tandon, much like a tandem bicycle, takes out two in that fight. Mutotone, the forward vanguard, just stop the respawn. He's going to make sure his team gets through. Flame Turtle low on health, but he does have that nano boost, trying to throw out the damage. His Uber is now blocking his shots. He has been cut off from his supply of damage. Still takes out two tanks and brings the fight in favor of Utah as they get very close to Colorado's progress point.
Both are doing a really good job staying alive. Unfortunately, will get taken out there. Unfortunately, saying unfortunately again. I'm just going to call myself out on this until I stop.
Maybe your luck will eventually improve here. We see the stall from Drygrass, a little short-lived, but gives time for Atomic Spoon to get out here. And Zarisa needs to waddle onto the payload, is able to do so. System stalling every second possible. Respawns coming in, a whole hog comes out from Q Smith. Does not get the value he quite wants. Tandem just spraying, playing Soldier 76 on this Widowmaker, trying to get the damage out, and it is sufficient. Utah will take Gibraltar.
There we go, and here we see Utah coming in with the 4-0. Very disappointing, really, for Colorado not to really take a game, seeing as their 2-0 score. Being on top, they were doing a very good job. I really wanted to see Colorado definitely push out a little bit, at least one win here, and it was kind of disappointing to see Colorado not really able to take a win. However, Utah being a very strong team, Colorado really did have to work, and they did show their colors. They did do a very good job. We saw a lot of good defenses and a lot of good pushes on to Utah, and you know, they definitely can win against these higher tiered teams, as they are one of them themselves. As we see in the standings, they are now 2-1, but they are a stronger team. They just need to work on a little bit more of that grouping, like I said earlier.
Today, I feel personally very betrayed by this match. I based what I thought was a sound prediction on the very simple premise that 2 is greater than 1. Today, math was wrong. Utah we are better than math. 1 is greater than 2, at least when it's us. And we had a very strong showing. So let's go ahead, look on over at the maps, see exactly how it all played out. Oh, a lot of red here. When did that happen?
A lot of red. And we saw a 3-1 there for Hollywood. Colorado, able to take a point there, as well as the 2-1 on Hanamura. Colorado is able to take points on those. Like I said, they were able to do a lot of work on these maps, just not able to get quite as far.
Now, they did have some strong showings, though. In fact, they did pretty good on Hollywood. Hanamura, we saw some decent stuff on Hanamura and Gibraltar. Didn't quite come out much for Ilios. That map pick did not quite go as they wanted, I don't think. There's some strong contests there. I think this team is on the precipice of being really good. There's some improvements that they can make that I think will improve their performance considerably. Let them run with the Bulls a little bit more. And so we're going to see that as the PACG goes on. Very excited to see how this squad grows.
I'm very excited to see how this grows as well. We're going to go ahead and look at now the adjusted standings, exactly where we are at now. We see Utah coming in with a 3-0. Maybe this is inaccurate or the first one was inaccurate. It looks like Utah might have been 2-0 and Colorado might have been 2-0 as well. But it looks like Utah coming out with a 3-0 now, and Colorado dropping down now with the 2-1. So Utah taking number 1 here, UCLA there in 3rd.
Yeah, so Colorado will drop out of the top spot here, but PACG far from over. Very few teams have actually played more than 2 matches for themselves, so a lot of time for them to improve, move that record up. As they're still absolutely in the runnings for our playoffs. It'd be a really cruel system if one loss disqualified you from our playoffs, semifinals, whatever you want to call them. That'd just be mean.
That would be mean. So I want to see Colorado hold the 2nd place and, hopefully actually take back 1st. So let's go ahead and look at the rest of today's matches. Back to this screen here, we saw today, our first match was the Utah versus Colorado, and our next match coming up, USC versus Colorado. Colorado again playing a doubleheader here today.
All right, so redemption chance right out of the gate. We'll see if they can apply what they learned against Utah in the limited window that they have to do so against USC. Try and turn this evening around for them. After that, USC versus Oregon. The double header. Do we not let these players sleep?
I mean, either we don't let these players sleep or the players choose themselves not to sleep. But, I wouldn't know. So, either they choose not to sleep or we are terrible people. Either way, not a lot of sleep coming in here for these tournaments. But that just shows the dedication from these players for this tournament and just how big this tournament is and how much fun it is and what it can grow to be.
So, very exciting future here in the PACG. Might not be a future with a lot of sleep in it. I know our production team doesn't get a lot of sleep. I know I don't. It's been a long time since I've slept here. So, still, it was an exciting match, though. Lots of fun. Worth the complete void of sleep in my life since I've started doing this. But every second was worth it. Had a lot of fun here. And thanks for letting me join you guys on the Overwatch desk once again. Always a great time. But speaking of time, I believe that is all the time we have for this first match. We're going to go to a quick break. Let Colorado have a little breather before we throw them back into the Crucible.
We'll see you guys